Hey there friends, what's up? Kevin here from the MSOTD Rocks YouTube channel, and today I'm reviewing the second full-length album from this band with a frontman that you guys all know if you're really into metalcore. This is our review of You'll Be the Death of Me by Light the Torch. Before we get started though, please remember to follow MSOTD Rocks on all social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We connect with you guys on all those different platforms in so many different ways, including different IGT videos, Instagram live streams, the Kevin's Crappy Flute series, which is brand new, where I play the flute over great rock and metal tunes, horribly I might add, all for fun. You can connect us on there, get to know new music, all that kind of stuff. Also remember to hit subscribe on this YouTube channel because you get these kinds of videos, the Kevin Figures Out series, the year-end awards, and of course the Chord Progression podcast, which the videos live right here, where we interview a lot of the upcoming and emerging bands, including some of the heavy hitters in the music scene today, in ways that is just like sitting down, drinking a beer, shooting the shit with them. You can watch interviews here on YouTube, or you can listen on Spotify Podcast and iHeart Radio. So please like, share, subscribe to all of those, links description below. And I mentioned this video is sponsored by Phoenix Fitness. Yes, Phoenix Fitness is sponsored this video, and they are a supplement vitamin company that is making sure that you achieve your fitness goals. You guys know me, I'm gonna work out all the time to make sure that when concerts come back, my God, I wanna be prepared, I wanna be ready, I wanna jump in those mosh pits, I wanna make sure that I'm recovered well enough to hit every single mosh pit I can over a festival weekend, and boom, Phoenix Fitness will help with different pre-workouts, BCAA recovery drinks, proteins, creatines, other kind of vitamins, multivitamins, whatever it might be that you need, go check it out. You can click on the link in the description below and use the code MSOTD to get 15% off your entire order. Now let's talk Light the Torch. So a little bit of a background on Light the Torch. Their first album under that name came out in March 2018 with the name Revival, and a lot of people gravitated towards it because, of course, you have Howard Jones, the former frontman of Killswitch Engage, during Killswitch Engage's heyday, that is fronting this band, and we know his powerful vocals, we know his melodic style, we know his unclean screams. Myself, though, I listen to them, I'm like, okay, you know, I'm enjoying it, but I really never fully got into it. In November of 2019, I ended up going to see the band live here in Milwaukee, and the reason I went to that show is because I wanted to see Howard Jones perform. And Howard Jones did a good job, I'm not going to lie. However, in that show, he was completely overshadowed by a band that would blow me away and completely become my second favorite band of all time. Posters up there, it's Ice Nine Kills. So You'll Be the Death of Me began its run on April 9, 2021, with Wilting in the Light becoming the first single for the album, which is going to be released on June 25th, 2021. And Howard Jones said that this was the album that he feels like he expressed the most on and opened up the most, which is really interesting because a lot of his time with Killswitch Engage, he was really open about his stuff going on as well, writing a lot of stuff about girls, according to the guys from Killswitch Engage, and really diving deep into his mind. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does that here. So let's just jump into it. So when I take a look at the composition, construction, and instrumentation of You'll Be the Death of Me, I've seen some different things from Light the Torch where the bass is a lot more of this hard rock kind of style, where they do bring in some more influences in with the metalcore style, but also a little bit of electronic stuff in there as well to really impact everything overall. So how does this blend come together, and what worked and what didn't? One of the biggest things I liked about the album was the fact that each song had this very consistent energy flow to the point where everything felt natural, going from verse to pre-chorus to chorus to bridge to outro to whatever went in there. Each different spot really felt natural. It really felt like this was what it was supposed to go. So when it came to really diving deep in these songs and really letting the emotions come over you that Howard Jones is trying to portray, the instrumentals did a great job at really flowing through this. Starting out with the song Denying the Sin, I like this one because it starts out with a deeper electronic sound, leading us into more of this hard rock bass. The pace is a little bit faster through the verses and the chorus, but the transition here is absolutely key because it has a little bit more of a drawn back, more Manson style transition, which is awesome because it completely differentiates the verse and the chorus, and it lets the song go full force at you without feeling like it's going to run together. Also take a look at Living with a Ghost because a more deep, distorted, muzzled sound starts to throw you off right away, but more of the natural metalcore vibe that transitions into more of a melodic metalcore chorus via high distortion, fast guitars in the pre-chorus makes you really sink into yourself with a little bit more of a heavier, faster feel after that initial high distortion. This was well done. One other thing I liked about the composition of this album was when they put the electronic influences on some of these songs, it really felt like they were naturally supposed to be there. They didn't overpower the songs to make them sound too light, too poppy, too overproduced. What they did was they added to create this mood mood, to create this overall vibe that the song really needed to have to be as powerful as it was. Sign Your Name, the last song on the track, is perfect for this because it has this consistent lighter electronic overlay throughout almost the whole entire song. But the thing is, it doesn't overpower in any way, so that hard rock bass is consistently there. But it gives a lighter feel to the overall song to give more of this loving vibe to it, which really fits in with the theme of the song. So it feels like it's naturally there, but it doesn't overshadow what the hard rock instrumentation is doing. So what did I like on You'll Be the Death of Me? And one is the hi-hat and crash oversaturation on a couple of these songs, because when I was listening to some of these songs, when you're going through some of the verses and the chorus, you're hearing this heavy hit on the hi-hat or the crash, which is really taking me out of completely all of the songs. What ends up happening is as the songs are going forward and flowing through, my mind consistently gets stuck on this louder crash and hi-hat sound that it just focuses on that, and I can't really get away from it. It really takes away focus and drive from the whole song. Start out the song End of the World. In the chorus, the song keeps up this driving sound in the verses with the guitars, and the drum keep a similar beat, but the guitar's a little bit higher, so you really have a little bit of a differentiation there. But this consistent crash and oversaturation on the hi-hat or crash cymbal is just so overpowering that it completely just makes your mind focus on that and completely forget about all the other things that are going on here. Also take a look at Wilting Light, because in the verses, you're getting this little bit faster paced style, especially on the drums. But when they're focusing so heavy on that hi-hat style, especially as Howard's vocals are really focusing in going forward, when you get to the chorus, you get the over and over and over again kind of thing. That hi-hat crash cymbal is still in your mind to really take you out of that. It's such a thing where it just so focuses you in on that piece, you can't get out of your head. And it's just, man, this could have been a real powerful thing, but kind of blew it. Other thing I really didn't like about this album instrumentally was, when I went through it, yes, every song flowed really well together within itself. Every song had this great natural feel, but there was no song that really had this full-on standout moment that really is going to make me want to come back consistently to this album over and over and over again. Yes, it is a nice flowing thing, which I'll get to later on to talk about why that's such a great thing, but there's no song like, you know, the call and response heaviness of Shadow Moses from Bring Me the Horizon and Sempiternal, or the gothic metalcore that Motion Light created with Eternal Years. There is really nothing there that really stands out like those songs on this album. So it kind of has this lack of just star power in a way. But overall on You'll Be the Death of Me, yes, listening to this album and just really sinking yourself into it with those flowing songs that go from one section to the other is really cool to really feel that. And the electronic inclusion doesn't overpower it. But that consistent crashing hi-hat on a couple of these songs to take me completely out of that whole entire mood. And then also the fact this album really lacks that standout moment just kind of makes me say, you know, this is good, but this isn't really anything that's gonna pop out at you. So now time to go to the vocals, and of course we have Howard Jones as the vocalist for Light the Torch. We know Howard Jones from his time with Killswitch Engage, and with the power that his vocals bring, with the clean vocals, the unclean vocals, really everything just stands out with a shit ton of power. But what worked on this album and what didn't? So some of the best vocals end up coming when Howard Jones was able to maximize on his overall range with both clean and unclean vocals to really provide a lot of power to these songs. And this is because we know what Howard Jones is capable of. We know he's able to really control the mindset of these songs, really drive us forward, really let us get into them and sink into them deeply. And when he was able to use some more melodic styles, some more straightforward styles, so a little bit higher pitch on the clean vocals, and then some heavier unclean screams, the complete mixture of that really worked out well here. Take a look at the song I Hate Myself, because Howard Jones starts out with this more middle of the road, more middle paced, melodic kind of style vocal to really let you sink into the song and set the stage, but then goes heavy and unclean in the pre-chorus to really make you feel like you absolutely realize that you hate yourself and that resentment is coming out. But once we get to the chorus, the higher pitched cleans really work well to show the admission of struggling and how that can lead to not only us to start loving ourselves, but for us to start accepting others as well. Sign Your Name was also really well done on this, because Howard kept up with this consistently more lighter, more melodic, higher pitched style, which at times I'm like, I will get to why I wasn't the biggest fan of some of this stuff. But with the way that the song was written and the way that the lightness of the construction was, Howard matching up with that electronic backing, given his lighter sound, just really lets you sink into the fact that you're ready to open up yourself to love somebody and really just accept them as another half of you. It really is a powerful thing that you really hear on his vocal set. Now, Howard is of course the vocalist for Light the Torch, but I have no idea who brought backing vocals on a couple of these songs. But whoever did absolutely deserves recognition and a raise. This is because we know what Howard Jones is capable of, but bringing in a lighter backing vocalist in some of these songs as well to really provide a comparison to Howard's clean vocals, but also a massive contrast to some of his unclean vocals, just provides so much more of a dynamic energy to these songs and really brings out the power behind them. Going into Becoming the Martyr, because in the bridge, we get the backing clean vocals to really come out powerfully with more of this lighter style on the electronic backing, but the unclean bursts from Howard really provide that heavy contrast and really let Howard's unclean vocals and that anger that he really is bringing in here just stand out so heavily. This was really well done in my opinion. Take a look at Something Deep Inside as well, because in the chorus we get the comparison in the first half with more melodic cleans from the backing vocals and Howard's vocals really also providing that kind of clean style as well to really give more of this sonic flow into the guitar solo. But then after the solo we get these unclean vocals from Howard, and the backing vocals that were on the first part really show this heavy contrast going into them that just make those unclean vocals stand out. I mean, this was fantastic. But what really didn't work for me on this album in the vocal set was there were too many times where Howard Jones's vocals were just so melodic in the pacing and the construction of these to really just take this pattern and kind of just make it seem rather similar. Look, I love it when bands really use that more melodic vocal set with some faster backing instrumentals to really bring up prominence. I love when Rise Against does this. I believe they're the masters at this. Howard Jones does a great job with this as well on Light the Torch, but when you have songs that this is the consistent thing over and over and over again, it really allows you to just kind of get lost in the fact that you're not sure what song you're really listening to. It's really hard to really kind of differentiate this on an album run through. It does get stale from time to time as you go from songs 1 through 12. Songs like Come Back to the Quicksand and More Than Dreaming really show this. So overall, when it comes to the vocal set, we do get the best from Howard Jones. Of course, when he's going more dynamic in his vocal set with different pacings, different cleans and uncleans, different tones as well. Plus, whoever's bringing in backing vocals on this is an absolute beast in terms of maximizing on the comparison of Howard's cleans and really contrasting and let Howard's uncleans really form this powerful bond. However, there are times where Howard Jones's vocal pattern are so melodic consistently throughout that you really kind of just get the songs to feel kind of run-on-ish and kind of like, okay, we're getting another one of these again. So, yeah. Now it's time for the themes of the album and how the styles played off them. And of course, Howard Jones said he was going to be the most open he ever was on this album. And taking a look at the lyrics, we're getting more than him just talking about different girls like the guys from Killswitch Engage always joke about. We're going to talk about a lot more. Of course, we see him talking about loving relationships with others and how they can either be good for us or we can get lost in the outcome of those. Songs like Sign Your Name and Come Back to the Quicksand really do show this. But he also goes into the themes about struggles we must face within ourselves and the obstacles in front of us in order to become the person or people that we want to be, with songs like Denying the Sin, Something Deep Inside, and Living with the Ghost. And then there's themes around self-destruction and how it can be caused by us and how it can impact our relationships not only with ourselves but also with others around us. Songs like I Hate Myself, Becoming the Martyr also show this. But when it comes to how they match with the styles of the songs, it's a little bit interesting because when I was picking these songs apart, going one through the other and really diving deep into them, it really kind of got a little bit like, okay, you know, I see where this is coming from, but it's not the most powerful thing in the world. But when I decided to do an album run through and just listen to it sonically 1 through 12 in the car, my God, just the way the songs are constructed, it really lets you dive deep in your own personal on this self-reflection style that Howard Jones is walking you through. Whether it's within relationships within yourself, with relationships with other people, with how you see yourself, with different self-destruction patterns, whatever it might be, you can really sink into this and really feel this with that full album run through, with how dynamic the songs really flow between one part to another and how they feel so natural doing that. So definitely go for a long drive listening to this album. That's the best way to really sink into it, and I highly recommend it. Alright, so now it's time for my overall rating on You'll Be the Death of Me by Light the Torch, and it is... I'm going to give You'll Be the Death of Me 5.5 out of 10. So what I like about this album, when I take a look at songs Becoming the Martyr and Something Deep Inside, that backing vocalist did a great job to keep these more clean styles in there to really not only maximize on the comparison of Howard Jones' clean vocals to really add to the more sonic transition of them, but contrast and let Howard Jones' unclean vocals sound so much heavier and so much more impactful if the anger really sinks into you. My God, I mean, this was awesome. That guy deserves a raise who have been backing vocals for this. One other thing I liked about the sound was when Howard Jones used his complete range on a lot of these songs, such as I Hate Myself and Sign Your Name, with Sign Your Name having more of that lighter kind of sonics out to it, because when he was able to really use a lot more of those cleans, uncleans, and really very different pitches in his clean vocals to really maximize on what the song was trying to portray, we got the most dynamic styles on the record, and it just proved that Howard Jones is incredibly impactful when it comes to really detailing a lot of these things that we're talking about, detailing a lot of these personal emotions, and really opening up to us, which really lets us open up through ourselves. The difference in those emotions really show up here when Howard uses his full range of vocals. The other thing I liked again is when you really listen to a song, each part transitions into one to the next naturally, from verse to pre-chorus, pre-chorus to chorus, chorus to bridge, bridge to chorus, bridge to outro, or whatever it might be. When we really get this full-on transition feel, it's really easy to get lost in these songs and really understand the meaning. Especially when I said what you want to do is you want to sit down in the car, go for a drive, and put this thing on and just listen and just enjoy. You're really gonna feel yourself get lost inside. You'll Be the Death of Me, and I really think it is the way to go. I am a big fan of this, so definitely do it. But what did I dislike? And take a look at songs like End of the World and Wilting in Life, because that freaking hi-hat and crash cymbal that just overpowers certain verses and certain choruses on these songs just really takes my whole entire mindset out of that sonic transition. If I'm really focusing in on it, I'm really trying to get lost in these songs, really focus in through them, again, when I hear that constant what's gonna end up happening is my mind just gets so stuck on that as the song progresses and really gets into more of that energy flow, my mind is still stuck on that point, to the point where it's just like the most standout part of those songs, but it's in the negative way that really takes away from the sonic beauty that is really coming through this more hard rock, metalcore, melodic vocal style. Speaking of over melodic vocals, my God, take a look at songs like More Than Dreaming and Come Back to the Quicksand, because Howard Jones completely uses his vocal pattern to go melodic against some of the hard rock, a little bit faster instrumentation on the back end. And while I find this to be fine, the problem is the song is the whole entire way. These songs really have these feels throughout everything. And I really enjoy the fact that Howard Jones tried this, but it does make the songs really run on together, and it's something that I just kind of want to back off from. And then, of course, like I said, with the instrumentals, this album just really lacks that full-on moment where you're going to fully latch onto it and really want to jump back into it later on. The reason I say it is because when I listen to the instrumental, yeah, this song really flows from one place to the other, but there's no song that just stands out as like this top-notch song that is absolutely powerful. There is no Shadow Moses with the chants and with the kind of more that call and response, with the heaviness that Bring Their Eyes had Sempiternal. There is no gothic metalcore infusion that is just blatantly in your face but beautiful that Eternally Yours had with Motionless in White. And there is no atonement piece where all of a sudden you're going to get this heavy rap and metalcore song with great transitioning vocals between Jesse Leach and, yes, Howard Jones when they went on Atonement from the Signal Fire with Killswitch Engage. I know I probably messed that up, but you know what I'm getting at. Instrumentally, there really is no just like, this is it moment for this album. So now it's time for my final thought. Again, 5.5 out of 10. That's not bad, but I think the album is best listened to like when you're putting on the car and do a full run through to really sink into the whole entire thing. Because the way the songs transition within themselves from one piece to the next really will get that feel going. Plus, Howard Jones's vocals really create this great flowing style, especially when the vocals are more dynamic within different pacings and, of course, different cleans and uncleans. When the backing vocals come in, it makes this even more powerful, so you can really sink in the meaning, sink in yourself, and really understand different things that you never knew about yourself. Now, there are some problems with this album, in my opinion. Of course, it's that hi-hat crash really takes me out of a couple of songs. There are times where Howard Jones' vocals are just way too melodic in terms of pattern that just really kind of just make these songs feel like a run-on. And of course, this album fails to really have that this is it moment. Again, we're not getting a Shadow Moses, we're not getting Eternally Yours, we're not getting the It Is the End, we're not getting a Sleep Society, we're not getting a Savior by Rise Against, we're not getting any of that in this album. And that's what I think is going to be hard for me to return this album if I'm not going to listen to it fully all the way through. I think it's going to be hard for a lot of people to really get into it, but is it a solid outing? Yes. Definitely say go listen to your car, go for a drive and run it all the way from 1 to 12, and you'll definitely enjoy it the most that way. So that's gonna be it for me today, guys. Thank you for watching this video, the review of You'll Be the Death of Me by Light the Torch on the MSOTD Rocks YouTube channel. Another big thanks to Phoenix Fitness for sponsoring this video. Again, links description below. Use the code MSOTD, get 15% off your order. My name is Kevin. We're gonna end with the hat flip. I missed it, so see ya!